We are on chapter 4 today. All right, so in chapter 3, we talked about deductive reasoning, right? And deductive reasoning is where we were creating arguments using formulas, and those formulas were syllogisms. And if you recall our syllogisms, we have modus ponens, modus tollens, chain argument, disjunctive syllogism, and argument by elimination, right? And also don't forget the entymemes, in which it is where the key parts are implied rather than directly stated. Okay, so a little bit of repetition or repeating what deductive reasoning is. So deductive reasoning, again, is using formulas. All right, again, modus ponens, modus tollens, all that good stuff. Now, what we want to lean into now is actually going to be inductive reasoning. This is where the rubber meets the road when it comes to critical thinking. Okay, so when we think about the beginning of the class, and when we talked about what critical thinking is, it's the more information we get, the more we can change how we might see something, because we're getting more information, which changes how we see something. Okay, so now inductive reasoning is different than deductive reasoning because it allows you to think critically. And you're thinking critically because you're gathering more data and more research. And the more that you get, the more that you know. And I know that I look like I'm chopping wood right here, but that's me trying to bang it into your brains, like the importance of inductive reasoning, okay? So you'll evaluate evidence for credibility, and you'll be drawing generalizations, right? It's not necessarily proof, but a generalization based on the information that you are receiving. So, inductive reasoning occurs when we use facts or research findings to make said generalization. So we could say that most A's are B's. If I encountered an A, it's probably going to be a B, right? So that's difference between stereotyping and generalization is the facts and the research that back up your statement. So just want to make sure we clarify that. So when we're talking about inductive reasoning, the more information we're getting, the more likely we're able to make a generalization. Again, there are exceptions. Not all A's are always B's, right? Sometimes things are different based on something else, maybe skewed data or something, right? So keep that in mind. Go back to the reading. It'll help clarify it for you. But again, once we start getting our data and research, we can say most A's are B's. Not all, but most, right? So most A's are B's. If I encounter an A, it is a B. It is most likely going to be a B, right? Sorry if that didn't make any sense. I can clarify. Most A's are B's. If I encounter an A, it is probably a B. Okay, and we'll give some examples as we move forward. So just keep that in mind, because when we start doing more things like you'll actually see it when we work with 12 Angry Men. There's going to be a little bit there. That still relates more to chapters 3, but in chapter 4 we also lean into this data and research for I forget the other movie. Hold on, give me a second because I'm blanking. It is Dallas Buyers Club. I don't know why I forget that. It's a very poignant movie, so I don't know why I would forget the name. Anyway, so when you start watching that, you'll see this chapter 4 really applies to that. Okay, inductive reasoning. Just so we know, evidence isn't always 100%. We recognize that. The more we learn, the more we know more about what we didn't know or what we thought, right? And the reason why we say evidence is not 100% is just so that we recognize, again, sometimes data is skewed. Maybe there's some outlier in there that throws off our data and changes how we look at it. Sometimes that happens. But the more we get, the more we can be more secure in our research and what our results are. We're going to talk about sample, and we're going to talk about random, okay? So the more information you get, so it's more probable as the amount of evidence increases. So the more evidence you get, the more probability that the evidence is pointed to this one particular thing is true. Okay. This might not make any sense as I'm saying it here, but I'm going to show you really quick a video on the point of data, right? So if we look at these 2 points, we can say, okay, do these points intersect? No, we don't. But as we start getting more and more information, we start to go, oh, wait a second. They do intersect. As I get more information, as these lines, I get more information, I can see that they intersect. That was a horrible way of showing it. So I'm going to give you this really quick video, and you can take a look at that, and then we'll be right back.